Tonight's broadcast comes live from R&R Studio and affiliated stations. Brought to you by our sponsor, the Wilhelm Awareness Foundation. Cuddle up close to those AM radios for tonight's reading of The Invisible Man. A story so scary, so unbelievable, it will have you reaching for the dials. Hear all about it on all the latest stations like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or you can send a telegram to rogercinemahood@gmail.com. Buckle in and hold on to your knickers. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. As always, our review will be spoiler-free.
Welcome to the Cinema Hood.
R&R Reviews.
Welcome back to our latest review on the reboot of Universal's horror classic, The Invisible Man. Directed and written by Leigh Whannell. Probably saying that wrong. The film was originally supposed to be a part of Universal's Dark Universe, but after the financial failure of The Mummy in 2017 with Tom Cruise, which gets a pretty bad rap, don't really know why, the studio decided to halt the shared universe and create standalone films that could do exactly that, stand on their own. Hence, our latest take on this well-known H.G. Wells story dating back to 1897. The story follows Cecilia Cass, played by Elisabeth Moss, best known from A Handmaid's Tale streaming on Hulu, who is trying to escape an abusive relationship from her very wealthy boyfriend, Adrian Griffin, played by Oliver Jackson Cohen, most known from The Haunting on Hill House released by Netflix. Adrian turns up dead, but Cecilia doesn't believe it and can't shake the feeling that he is still haunting her. She begins to piece together these seemingly coincidental acts to try to prove that she is hunted by someone no one can see. And then suddenly, she is sent a message, and it begins, "Hello, my freaky darlings." Huh? Oh, right, Bob. Yeah. Wrong movie, sorry. Now, if you know anything about this film or its origin, then you probably know where this story is heading. But on the chance that you don't, we'll leave our plot description right there. We gave The Invisible Man a 6 out of 10 points. It's the reshaping of this story that really gave a life to it that most wouldn't have seen coming. They took a story that would seem too cheesy for our times and made it relevant in an organic way. Now don't get us wrong, the film is far from perfect, but it truly felt like a breath of fresh air. Wink wink. Our complaints? Well, the setup of the film runs a little short on substance. Once things began to escalate about midway through, we were all in, but getting there took a while. It feels like the story wanders for a bit, not sure of which route to take. It does also have a few plot holes, as films often do, that seem to keep it on track for its 2-hour runtime, of course. Overall, this is a recycled story, but it's told in a reinvented way and it pays off. And the part where Dr. Jack Griffin eats and you can see the food makes no sense. His skin and insides should still be there, so therefore they would be covering the food and you would not be able to see it. It doesn't even make sense at all. It has no consistency within the story. Anyway, we don't have too many characters in the film, nor do we see a ton of development. The film doesn't really give us any backstory on our main characters, nor on any of the supporting cast. Normally this means we would have two-dimensional characters that are so shallow we couldn't even care, but here it's not the story. Instead, we watch the uncontrollable spiral of chaos that this young girl is forced to deal with, wondering how it could possibly be resolved. You're so absorbed in the story that you don't ask for anything more than what's given right before you. This is mostly due to the exquisite performance given by Elisabeth Moss. All of the other performances were hitting right about par, but this girl can lead. She carries such a genuine tone in her emotional reactions and uses facial expressions to speak louder than her physical words. Elisabeth steals the show here and helps make this film what it is.
Wow, yeah.
It also handles its score and sound very well. There was less song rather than sound effects, but it accented so well within the film. Not to mention all the dead silent moments, which truly gets your adrenaline pumping. The camera moves slowly and quietly as you listen in dead silence for the moment to come. The camera work deserves props here too, though, on its own. Such simplistic shots were used to create such a strong, suspenseful feel. Although it didn't really create a scared feeling, it definitely gave us over to the suspense of the moment. Now, obviously, being titled The Invisible Man, this film is going to need the help of some CGI and practical effects. The film balances this well. There are several moments you can see the practical effect over the CGI, and it gives it a great real feel. And when the moment isn't practical, break out the CGI. For the most part, the film does a good job of showing off its abilities. There are certainly a few scenes where you can see right through it, and maybe one that looks pretty terrible, but overall, we find that this is good work. Although there were some special effects we saw in the trailer that don't present themselves in the film, I hate when that happens, and the scene where Kevin Bacon got electrocuted by the breaker box looks like it was made in the year 2000. So what is this film? I mean, it really did break the expectation a little. It's not going to change your life, but it's definitely worth a view. It ranks above average with R&R, and we think you should check it out. The film claims to be a horror, but it really doesn't feel like a horror film. More like a better told Lifetime movie with lots of suspense.
Right.
There's a few jump scares and a little bit of blood, but nothing that would make you want to look under your bed at night. It's a refreshing take on classic horror type films and the best horror film, in quotations, to come out in some time now. And I would just like to state that my brother said this movie was going to be terrible and didn't want to see it, and it actually turned out to be pretty good. And so I just want to say, boom! That's right. Next time I get to ride in the front seat. That's right. Aw, yeah.
Well said, well spoken.
Well, guys, that's all we have for today. So until next time, grab your grackles, and remember, it's a beautiful day in the cinema hood.